All right, everybody. My name is Dan. Welcome to the channel. Today I have Kirk here. He is the founder and CEO of Kaloscope, a interesting, brand new company and concept. I think it'll be really interesting to kind of pick his brain on what's going on in terms of the metaverse, what his company is doing, and take some questions from him as well. Hopefully, a little bit later. So, Kirk, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Dan, for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Where are you right now?
Right now, I just actually arrived in the Philippines. I've been here for the last 2 weeks. Normally, I'm based in Dubai, but I'm here for some conferences and a couple of partnerships for our pass holders. Oh, we have Athena. Hey. So, yeah, just preparing some really cool stuff for our community.
Gotcha. So, I guess, can you maybe start us off by just telling us kind of the history of Kaloscope? I know this is kind of a new company. So can you just tell us what made you want to start this company?
Sure, I'll give you a bit of background. So I've been in the sort of crypto space since around 2014. Not super active, but I learned about it through a friend. Um, and through that, I've been part of the hemp and cannabis and sustainability space for 5 years. I had my own
Okay.
company in the UK, and we're based trading globally for sustainable goods. So from that, in these experiences, we were looking at potentially tokenizing even farming, or maybe like ways to raise capital through that. But I didn't really understand crypto or in blockchain to its core sense back then. And it wasn't really interesting for me because like money and watching charts go up and down, it just felt a bit tedious
Mhm.
to look at. So you know, um, fast forward to the first part of the pandemic, we were about to launch a new product for hemp proteins and start delivering it to gyms, and suddenly everything closed. So from that moment, it was a difficult time for most businesses, and we had to pivot. So from that, really, we pivoted into creating the world's first sustainable hemp face masks and delivered them to a number of hospitals and to different people. And through that, I got into medical PPE, supplying different hospitals as well, and vaccines. So made a bit of money during that time as well. And that's when I really decided that I said, maybe it's time to go out there and maybe travel a little bit and see what's out there. So literally traveled the world, went to Spain, lived in there for a couple of months. Brexit happened, so got kicked out of the country. Then, as I was on my way back to the Philippines, together with my business partner Ryan, decided to stop by Dubai and see where the opportunities there, because you hear a lot about it, right? A lot. I hear that a lot of young people are coming there, and there's opportunities there, and there's loads of Filipinos because I'm British Filipino by national. So after arriving there, it was quite difficult because hemp and cannabis is illegal in Dubai. So it's very difficult to do a business that you've been doing for years in a country that's banned, because you can't get
Right.
samples, you can't send out samples, you know. So and really that's just looking at other experiences. And back then, Hello K messaged me and said, "Hey Kirk, would you like to come and join some crypto lessons and stuff?" So I at the time I wasn't really interested in it, but I asked my business partner Ryan to go and have a chat with that. But eventually I came across with this concept of Veve. So that really were the start of my sort of NFT journey. Although we were looking into tokenizing with the farming side, Veve was the sort of the pinnacle to pique my interest in blockchain. My first NFT was that the DeLorean. I bought that. It felt like a as most people, you buy something on Veve and for some reason it goes 5 to 10x, you know, a couple of hours later. And I was saying, why is people buying this? It's digital. It's not real. And as I explore this space, I start to realize that there's a potential here beyond just collectibles. It's actually a stamp or proof of ownership online. It's like being able to prove that you own something, whether it's content, your identity, a piece of virtual asset. It could be anything. And as I brainstorm towards this, I said maybe there's a business opportunity here. So I started exploring for a couple of months since March, I think sometime last year. And I sort of harassed Kay. I said, Kay, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about that idea? Like, so we had a lot of like back and forth at that time. Eventually I hit sort of that eureka moment wherein I was just exploring uh, this. I saw a very, very common problem with most collectors, and that is if you buy something on OpenSea or an NFT collection outside, you don't really have a place to showcase your NFTs. Like Veve is amazing because they have the AR and VR functionalities, but for most part, the NFTs, you don't really have anything else to showcase except for OpenSea or like just a screenshot of your wallet, which means that it's you're just creating a copy of what you just purchased for.
Yeah.
So I said, isn't there a better way to showcase your collection? And that's when I came upon by accident just playing around one of these collectibles, which was the the Toy Story Andy's room. So with Andy's room, I would start looking around, playing with 3D model, and I put it on my phone, did something to it, and placed it on augmented reality. And what I did was I expanded the room. So like that's that moment in Iron Man where you start to discover the new atoms, like the new elements in Iron Man. That's how I felt like when I expanded the room. Got into that, and I said, like, wouldn't it be cool if you can have your NFTs and store it inside Andy's room? I said, well, okay, that's a cool concept. Wouldn't it be cool if I can put it inside the Batcave? Wouldn't it be cool if I owned, I don't know, the friend's apartment? So
Mhm.
like that's where I started like the what if, wouldn't it be cool? And I never really had an idea for it or a name for it. So we started off as an NFT wallet. And through that, the NFT wallet phase, we wanted to come up with a demo. I went to Ukraine for a couple of months looking for a developer that
Mhm.
can develop us that. And that's really the start of like the journey, like developing a basic demo where you can showcase your collection inside this virtual world.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I think your business model is really interesting because I think there is a need to kind of showcase your NFTs. Right now it's whatever platform you're using to buy them, whether that's Veve or like OpenSea. That's pretty much it. So you're relying on these marketplaces to showcase them. But uh, I guess my question then is, what incentivizes you to for users to choose Kaloscope?
Mm.
Do you think that Veve would eventually, once they kind of get some things figured out, like, hey, let's just make our own uh, showroom, so bigger and better showroom, so that you can keep the users on app? How are
Mm.
you able to kind of bypass that problem?
Well, the first things first is the differentiation between the projects. The first iteration here is that we're trying to become a Web3 platform where it's to some extent it's decentralized. Like you are the owner of the wallets, you own their NFTs, and all you do with our platform is you can connect your NFTs to our platform, and then it acts as like a wallet interface. So you still completely control that, and at some point maybe even control the post or the post that you create. You are the owner of that post. Whereas if you go to maybe like Instagram or Facebook, technically speaking, you are using their platform to post your content, but you don't really own the content Someone
Right.
else can just take a screenshot of that, run away with it, and say it was my post. So, and there's no securities on it. And Vive is very centralized. We're trying to be as decentralized as we can, in a way that, like, we give users the freedom to, own the place where you collect it. The vault, for example, in Vive's, it's a copy paste of, everybody has the same vault. But what if you actually, if that was an NFT and you can actually sell that as an asset, a virtual real estate asset, and really that's where we started off. Like, we were looking at, we started off as like almost like an NFT wallet at the
Hmm.
very beginning, but then it suddenly evolved into this word metaverse. And that's when, that's where we sort of like, I mean, we didn't really pivot, but we were actually trying to build the metaverse. We just didn't have a name for it.
Right.
And that's when we hit the right timing. We launched in Dubai. We started showcasing the early iterations of the demo, which is we can showcase a little bit later. And yeah, I mean, like, the idea of being able to own, not just own your own metaverse, really, like the metaverse in your pocket, like through your phone, or maybe through another platform, and maybe invite your friends through portals, make it more social rather than, hey, like, look, I can just walk around here, but what if I can see your avatar? Instead of us having this live stream, we could be having a live
Right.
stream inside the virtual world, while you're showcasing your virtual space, right?
Hmm.
So, and that's what we're sort of looking into, like a mini version, or the first iteration of Ready Player One. That's what we're sort of aiming for.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, many of my viewers, they're kind of really into Vivi. I mean, I would say the core viewership is Vivi people. So I just kind of want your perspective as, as a founder of your own project. What do you, what are your opinions on what Vivi has accomplished so far in terms of, developing their app and trying to become mainstream? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, the first things first is the ability to actually start a project like Veve. They did the foundations of gathering the right partnerships, which is great. And then obviously develop the minimum viable product. But the one thing that they didn't foresee is the potential success they had, and obviously the boom of NFTs. If there was no NFT boom, then Vivi would have been just a regular collectibles app that people would be buying or selling, and they wouldn't have that same hype, because whales are jumping in here because of the simple fact that there's a token attached to it, right?
Hmm.
But like, no one, but the pandemic really accelerated people to start using uh, non-custodial wallets or investing on crypto, and that's really the big drive upon the virtual thing. And I think they've done an amazing job with what they built. They will eventually hit some limitations, which is where I see that, if you have a multiple partnerships, how do you actually go beyond with what you've got, because it becomes repetitive for way too long. Maybe, if you put the DeLorean right next to, I don't know, Bubbles, and then put that right next to Ultraman, and then you're going to say that you're going to come up with a game for it. It's very difficult to imagine, because there are different IPs, and they all have to, and all those IPs have to agree as well on how it's being used. So, it's an interesting challenge for them. But I guess that's the point of having this metaverse concept. But it's really aimed for collectors. But the one aspect that's missing from it is creators. If it's like someone like such as yourself, you create your own NFT, but you can't show it on a platform like Vivi. We've
Right.
got like some amazing people who are developing really, like the Vaultaholics, and a couple of very interesting designers of those vaults. Like, no one gets to see what they created, because it's very limiting on how you share that content. And that's really where the different, I think that's where they lack. It's a social part. I mean, you can't message people between collectors within the app.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's missing. Um, the fact that when you go on AR or VR mode, you can't really see which NFT edition you have because you go inside the vault, you don't even know which Superman you have if you have a hundred
Yeah,
of them.
for sure.
So, I mean, they have a long way to go because it's simply as they didn't expect the growth of their success, and they're just trying to catch up with their success. And give it time, they'll eventually get to where they need to be. But for me, it's an inspiration. We look at. I'm thankful for the community. I'm thankful for content creators as such as yourself because you educate young investors into this space. And not just that, the one thing that Veve actually brought out is the collector within people.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
that's really the heart of the collector. We're all collectors at heart. I think back in the Stone Age, we used to collect stones, maybe pearls or something like that. We were all, it's there's an innate nature with us. We collect everything from I don't know, shoes, magazines, cars. Everybody has their own mini collection of what they, even music. So but again, it's just dependent on the angle that they're looking for. Right now, they're very focused on the collector's part, and we're trying to open the gates in a way that is a little bit different from what they're doing and taking it to the next level, which is the social part. We're trying to build a social media metaverse, place where you can showcase your creation, your collection, and own your own metaverse, own this space where you can showcase them. And eventually, this could be the gateway to your virtual identity as well. So
Awesome.
that's
I think global interest in NFTs in terms of, search terms on Google, and it does seem just NFT sales in general seems to be kind of temporarily declining. So how do you envision NFTs in general evolving from here? Are we going to kind of fizzle out and then that's it? NFTs were just, um, like a big pump and dump, or how do you see them evolving from this point going forward over the next couple of years?
what I would say is we're hitting. So I don't know what the right word for it. I think the word is like tranche or something. But around the year 2000, when the idea of the internet came out, like everybody started their own websites, right?
Mhm.
Everybody had their own concept. Like somebody had their own pets.com. There's like 50 of them. Somebody had like a beer company selling beer online. So there's really loads. And people are testing, people are buying, they don't know which one's going to go to the moon. And that's where we were at. It's like it's almost like in business, like the honeymoon phase. Like people are just playing and testing, and then there will be a small dip where it's a bit quiet, and then until it reaches to the next point, which I believe that we're trying to catch is, it's not really the metaverse. The metaverse, I think, will be the next one, but I think it's what I call as I like to coin it. It's called perk abilities, right? So it comes from two words, perk and abilities. It's just another word for utility, but uh, really, what do you get for owning this NFT? What is the accessibility to this a virtual asset? Can I go see a movie with it? Can I get a discount at a virtual, like online? Can I go and see the artist? It's really the perks or the abilities that you give to that perk to the asset is what's going to take it to the next level. So, I think it's going to be a real, a change for the NFT space is going to be competing on these utilities, I believe. And that's really where it's going to be. Everyone's going to say like this is going to be the clearer you are with what you're going to offer, the higher the value will be. And then the next phase of that, I would believe would be I call it like sponsorship, like NFT sponsorship. Why would you create your own NFT when you can sponsor an NFT that already been created, right? So you could be an independent artist and you can have about 5,000 people who own your collection. But then instead of you creating your own NFT as a brand, why don't you just sponsor an independent artist that already has a certain community within that
Wow.
niche and then sponsor that instead? So that's where I see it's gonna take it to the next level, wherein I'm just gonna sponsor an artist instead of just making my own. Instead of me spending marketing money, trying to build a community around my concept, it's better to just sponsor that thing, and that's where the creator economy is really gonna take off. And once you have those creators coming in, they need a platform to showcase their creations. They need a place where you can develop that virtual world. And once you have creators, then you start building worlds, and within these worlds, people who want to find out new experiences, and that's where creativity sparks. And the internet, that's how the internet was developing. But the one aspect that was missing is that social part. People didn't want to
Mm.
go online just to go and buy something. People were even scared to put in their credit card,
Right. Yeah.
online. And it's like us trying to go and buy crypto, and you're afraid to put in money on crypto and then take that crypto to buy something else, right? It's that early stage fear. But once it's easy to transact, people will then start to what do you call this, get involved more and more. I mean, you can see institutions, government bodies, brands, celebrities getting into this space. It's going to be super crowded, but then there's no consolidated platform to make it more social. And
Mhm.
not many people is looking at Facebook right now. Not many people is looking. I mean, Twitter is probably the best positioned, I would say. But again, it's not Web3. You don't really own the post or the Twitter post that you push posting. So yeah.
Gotcha. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about play to earn, because that's kind of when we talk about NFTs. A lot of times the conversation turns to play to earn gaming. It seems like that's a good kind of mesh there. So, it seems to be a massive development and evolution in the NFT space. What are your thoughts on the play to earn mechanic? And does Calscope have any plans to venture in this way at all?
So the first iteration for us is, or our version of Play to Earn is just light gamification to start with, which is we are introducing morphing onto our platform, really from the Aradina drop from the beginning, where you can combine two common NFTs, morph them together, and then you basically remove them from circulation or burn them to unlock a much rarer variant. So using, but you have to pay, let's say, a certain fee using our token, or at this for now it'll be just for Matic, and then you can then unlock that much rarer variant, and then you can then sell it for higher prices. So that's like one aspect that we're looking at. The next aspect is we call it as crafting, wherein, let's say, if you have a piece of an NFT within your space, and then you get rewarded X amount of resources for holding it within your space. Because within our platform, you can only store it or showcase an NFT within that space if you own that NFT within your wallet, right? Because we're connecting your wallet onto our platform. So, like, what if you get rewarded in these resources, and with these resources, maybe you can craft them together to form a new type of item. So we have this concept about NF trees, or the great NF trees, that we're just working behind the scenes with some of our partners who work with the World Economic Forum. And these virtual trees, uh, you can then store them in your room, and maybe you get X amount of wood every single day. And then maybe you get, if you have X amount of wood, maybe, like, I don't know, 100 pieces of wood, you can craft it together so that you can form maybe a frame, a digital frame that you can then put onto you can attach your NFT to, and then you can showcase it onto your platform, or
Wow.
maybe a table, a chair, but then you can sell that accessory as an asset, within or outside like OpenSea or or Rarible or other places basically. So yeah, and there's a bunch more like questing. We're gonna look at quests. Um, if you have a certain NFT, you will unlock quests within our platform. And yeah, I'll start with those things, and eventually, as we introduce more like a desktop-based application, that's a bit more of a wider experience of the metaverse plus the Oculus, then then there's a lot more aspects of gamification. So, like for us, really, we're not really focused on just coming up with a game, competing with somebody else. Like we're here to promote other games and say, look, if you're playing Illuvium, what if you have an Illuvium space? I don't know if you like Pokemon. I love Pokemon. Like I can have a Pokemon space, or but then I can earn some, or even Call of Duty, like you open or unlock a really rare skin of a certain weapon, and then you can then showcase it within your virtual space. Because that's really the issue. Because we play all these games, we spend all these hours, but you don't get rewarded for it.
Right.
And the reason for that is you don't really have a place to show it off. There is no place to flex your achievements or collection. You can screenshot it on Facebook, you can showcase it on that, but but the thing is, you can't flex it and you can't sell it. So, and that's really the main aspects for it. But honestly, I think it's a game changer. Just a little tip here, Dan, as well. Like I learned this in the Philippines. I don't know if you know about this, but in the Philippines, one of the reasons why some of the poor people here uh, sort of survived during the pandemic, because there's no income, was they were playing Axie Infinity, but
Hmm.
not in a way that you're thinking about it, because what they've done is the older generation, like the grandmas and grandpas, they actually paid their children or their grandchildren, even their maids and drivers, to play this game in order to earn some money. So it's really the life changing thing, and it's free. So people play a couple of hours, and like I actually had a chat. I had a meeting last week with another CEO, and he told me last week that, look, I have my daughter. She's 12 years old, and instead of her getting a job in the Philippines, because in the Philippines here, the minimum wage, right, for one person per day, almost on average in the low income state, is about like 500 pesos per day, which is about $5, $5 to $10 or something like
Oh,
per day, which is crazy, right? Like most
yeah.
people get that per hour. So when I hear and see this, I feel like, my gosh, you know, everyone is so privileged, because you can have like a comic book on Veve for $7, but then you realize that's someone's income per day,
Hmm.
and you're spending it like crazy. So and that's really and these play to earn income based games is going to change people's lives, because it's a side hustle, it's a side income. My only concern with it, I do have a concern with play to earn, and that is what happens is everyone's just going to start playing games, and no one's going to do work anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's crazy future with it.
I guess on that note, I was reading on your Medium article about the how do you pronounce that? Is it Ardina?
Aradina.
Aradine. Okay. About
Yeah.
staking your Aradine NFTs. Do you think we can stake those NFTs to earn tokens?
So what we'll be doing is slightly different. So for Kaloscope, we're really trying to combine, like, we call it like metaverse utilities and real world utilities. So the first one is the real world utilities we showcased on our diamond and gold passes, right? So our diamond and gold passes, you get typical metaverse utilities like early access, unlockables and airdrops, and also what do you call this? Uh, um, and different really accessible accesses to within the Metaverse platform. And then we have the real world utilities. So the first one we introduced is a project being run by my CTO in Dubai, which is the Meta Terrace. So it's a virtual sort of, well, it's not virtual. It's a real uh, bar in Dubai with a beautiful view of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, an open air bar. And then what we've done with it is you can put on a VR headset, and then you can actually walk around that bar in VR,
Wow.
and then you can have like you can see a giant whale floating in the sky or something. So and then we've also had some cool little. I'll actually share it with you if you like. It's a
Yeah.
cool little thing. I haven't shown it to most people yet. Well, let me just figure out how to. Where's my Twitter here? Showed it to our group. 1 second. Yeah, use a plus. Share screen.
Right.
Okay.
And then you can pick like Google Tab. Okay. There we
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see the stream stuff
Okay.
on there.
Can you see my
Yes,
Twitter?
I can. Oh, I see
Okay,
your
so I'm
messages
just
there.
yeah, we just have a long chat. So we have this. So this is what some of our devs are working on behind the scenes in Dubai, which is an augmented reality AR menu. So you can
Oh,
scan a menu, and then you get an augmented reality experience. And the bar is not just like your typical bar. You can purchase NFTs inside that bar too. So like your gold
cool.
passes, your diamond passes. Maybe we're doing a drop, and then you can buy it in the bar. You can purchase crypto. You can pay with crypto as well.
Oh, that's awesome, actually. I mean,
Yeah,
that really adds like a social component to like trying to get some of these NFT drops or mints. That's really cool.
yeah. And as you can see here, just slow down a little bit. You can see that you've got like food, right? So we literally so we call it's called photogrammetry, where you take loads and loads of photos of a dish, and then you can have it as an augmented reality asset. So you can tap on this, and then you can place an order, and then maybe you have an NFT, maybe it's your pass, maybe it's your board ape, but then you can use that NFT to reserve your table. So like really cool aspects like that. Now, for us, it's like I was talking about the perk abilities earlier. The ability to own, uh, to have a utility with the NFT that you own. So being able to access to the bar. I'm also I've already shared about our island in the Philippines that you can, well, technically speaking, you can have access to that as well. So really, it's like just creating this platform for artists, creators is what's needed. You need to have utility in the long run, else people get bored. And if
Yeah.
people get bored, you sell it. But people who are new, we wanna be there to say, hey, I bought this NFT. Oh, we have Mr. Non Fungible Wonder from a friend. So he's creating an NFT for music. So that's utility within itself. But if I don't know him as an artist, I can then find out what are the perks that come along with that thing, and to make it more social. Because we have like amazing people who are creators out here. We want to make sure that we create a platform to showcase this really.
You were talking about passes, and I think that's something I did want to talk about as well. I know that Kaloscope has two types of passes, right? A diamond pass, which is kind of, I think it's more rare, I believe, and then the gold pass. Um, I guess, can you give us a perspective on why you decided to offer the Kalos pass and how it differentiates from other passes? I think, right now Recurve has a very popular pass, which I have as well. What's the difference? How do you see your pass kind of evolving over time?
So for us, the main iteration where why I created these two things was the fact that you wanted to limit the access to the alpha version of the app. That was the initial idea. So when you're testing a new piece of technology, you want to have like people ready to come and just hop onto the first version, right? So the Diamond Pass will give you early access to that. Obviously, the same perks as well with the gold, but over time, the differentiation will showcase. Like maybe when you're staking that NFT or you're staking your passes, you get more points. Those points you can then exchange it for real world utilities, like we mentioned at the bar or the metaverse. So yeah, and I mean these are like the major differences, and over time as well, we'll always prioritize the our pass holders. And if you think about it this way, the growth of Veve, you got like millions and millions of users, then you have to compete for a tiny amount of collection, right?
Hmm.
So, but with these passes, at least you have a dedicated, a certain amount of NFTs dedicated for pass holders during in every drop, and you get like almost guaranteed whitelisting for every drop, and you're only competing against 1,500 people. So,
Nice.
and that's really like it rewards the early adopters, so it rewards people long term, and the fact that we're already introducing real world utilities is essentially the first few steps. Imagine we start partnering with people in the US in terms of the utilities there. It could be a free hotel stay. It could be a night out at Disneyland. It's like the main point here is that you add as much utility as possible, and then you start developing a very tight knit, very exclusive group, and eventually we'll start introducing other passes that are much higher volume, higher tier with different purposes as well. So for now, it's just to think of it as our Todd and Rizzo in the VV terms,
Sure.
and and then and obviously the utilities of them will diverse over time. But diamonds will be prioritized because there's only about 500 units, and gold is about, I think there were 1,000, but we burned about 100 of them during our past sale. So there's only 900 of them, and if you do, if you just like any other collector, we also have multiple people are stacking as well. So there'll be even less in circulation,
Hmm.
which means that over time it could just shoot up in value, especially once we showcase to the world the rest of its utility, because this is just one part of like the many things that it'll access. But it'll be the start, really. It'll just be the start.
Hmm. I do want to talk about like the comparison between Diamond and the Recurve Pass, because I do have
Mm,
a Recurve Pass. I did buy it just mostly out of curiosity, and I think I've been a little bit disappointed in the Recurve Pass because it did go up in value. It was almost a 2 to 3x, but now
mm,
it's pretty much lower than retail price, and it gives you access to drops. And I bought there's like a Star Trek
mm,
NFT that I bought with it, and that has
yeah.
also dropped in value. So in a sense, right now with the Recur Pass, there hasn't been a lot of value there.
Mhm.
And I think you talked about it briefly, but how do you envision adding value to it long term so that when people buy these other passes from Kaloscope, it doesn't just drop in value immediately?
I mean, it just goes back to what I said before. It's the
Mhm.
perk abilities. The biggest issue with Recur is like just before they even went uh, live, I was chatting with the CEO. I was actually chatting with the CEO before they did Recur. I wanted to ask for his advice and get him as an advisor, but then I think and back then they were also speaking with Gary Vee. So
Oh,
Gary
wow.
Vee invested, they went big, and then after that, that's when you start hearing about Recur. So I already knew about them way, way back. And but the issue that they've had is they did an amazing execution business wise to be able to sell that during the hype, but then they don't realize that NFTs are built on like, well, the first things first is really the community, right? Like the reason why people bought those passes was because they saw some brands that they thought that they could buy. And then people from Veve saw that as like, hey, it's a competitor. Hey, it's they took this brand and that brand. But to be honest, when you have a massive brand, uh, there is no such thing as brand loyalty. You want your brand as many places as possible, not just in Veve or Recurve. So I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I think it's really just the management, and I think they're focusing mostly on universities as well in the
Right.
US. So they're building the system in terms of uh, uh, you know like you spend money, but you know again their business model is just a bit confusing. Like what are they trying to build? Are they trying to build a collector based project? Are they focused on universities to promote those things? The focus is, and then you have like universities versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Hello Kitty, and like you put that into one loop, you tell me what the story is. Like it's very hard to pitch it, and
Yeah.
that's really it. And people are gonna start selling that thing. But for us, really, we're very focused on again the first iteration is we have a demo app. We've developed the concept. We have a community. We've sold some stuff. It's the main idea here is that we it's about being clear about like what you're intending to do, and we're building a metaverse from the start. We're not trying to create a collectibles place, and the value will just go up in terms of utility. Staking is a very important thing for most collectors because you want to get rewarded for holding what you're getting, right? And airdrops, for example, yes, they're doing it in other projects, but then what is the utility behind that airdrop to make it more exclusive? I can have a nice collectible, I can leave it in my vault or my wallet or whatever, but then there's no value. But also, we have to think about that we have to be in between, uh, in relation to the law. Like if people are getting rewarded in terms of tokens by holding an NFT, I think that would classify the project as a security, from what I believe.
Yeah.
So we're trying to avoid that by going around this loophole of we give you points, and maybe you can exchange those points too for tokens. So
Yeah.
like there's a way around of certain aspects of this, but yeah, over time it'll get clear. We're still very early in this space. So yeah, I mean, anything else?
Yeah, I do want to just briefly talk about your token, just as much as you're willing to share. And then
Mhm.
maybe we can show everyone the upcoming drop you guys have on April 30th, and we can kind of end there, or maybe take a question or two. So uh,
Sure.
that
Do you
that
want
being said,
to? Yeah. Okay. So just to let our viewers know, we are doing our first ever partnership drop, which is with Aradina. So Aradina is a medieval metaverse project. They've just secured a massive funding round with Animoca Brands. And if you don't know Animoca Brands, they're basically the guys who created Sandbox, the metaverse game. So they're super, super big. And yeah, you just pulled it up on screen. So yeah, I mean, you can probably just go through the article quickly. Most of the information is there through the medium, so just have a read through that, guys. But essentially, we'll have two things. We'll have the metaverse space, and then we will have the virtual portals. Now, this these two items come together. You can customize anyway the entrance to your space in the Kaloscope app. And sorry, 1 second. Yeah, and basically what you can do is you can then combine, essentially unlock a much rarer variant. So people who are holding the common ones over time, maybe the bronze variant, the silver, gold, or even the Kalos ones, you can see that they're very, very low edition numbers there. There's like only 135 of them. There's 90 editions for silver, so there's super low in terms of what you can get. But again, people get the same like essentially the odds of trying to get a much rare variant, or if you hold it long term, eventually the common ones would probably become actually less or more valuable than even the rare variants because we're burning them, right? Like the more you
Right.
burn, the less in circulation. Therefore, it should go up in value because people are trying to mint, let's say, the Kalos variants. So yeah, and each one, as you can see there, we haven't announced it publicly yet, but we actually partnered up with a company called Sketchfab, which is a it's one of the world's top 3D augmented reality model marketplaces. And we're working together with their API so that you can view your NFTs in AR and VR straight away, without even the app. So, we're
Wow.
trying to, like, the app is not ready yet, but, we wanted to give you guys, the sort of like your VV experience in a way, like mini version of that. We're also looking at exclusive airdrops for people who are buying, let's say, our NFTs. So, just a quick tip: if you buy at least one portable and one space, we'll be doing a very nice airdrop that comes along with that too, and NFT staking rewards as well. So, if you're staking the NFT, essentially holding it or putting it staking it through our website, which Kay and John are working on over the next few months, you get the point system, and that point system could then be exchanged for token or whitelisting tokens when we launch our tokens. So, and yeah, there's a couple of stuff like Metaverse exclusive benefits, crafting for resources. There's a bunch more, but we didn't want to make it too long. But these are essentially the top we call it top perk abilities that you get from this drop, and it's the first. Think of it as our first ever metaverse drop. It's the pod of our metaverses, and there'll be other projects and partnerships we will be showcasing down the line. And but it's the ability to have this virtual property, store and project your NFTs within it. But then if you don't like this space, you can then sell it for money, which is, again, it's almost like owning a piece of real estate without needing to own the land. So yeah.
I have a surprise question. Someone from the audience asked it, and it was repeated. But do you have any
Yeah.
plans to potentially utilize the OMI token, or would there be any interest there? If you don't have any plans or can't share anything.
Um, I'm gonna say, in terms of interest wise, I would say yes, obviously. But in terms of us making that happen, it'll be it'll be a little bit, a couple months later down the line. It won't be like straight up because we have to prioritize our token very simply because we need it for the app. So our own app will start there, but nothing stops us. You never say never. We're very close to not the VV, like the VV fam, but also the people behind the VV fam. I was planning to actually go and meet David Yu at the end of this month, but unfortunately, New Zealand's still closed, so we have to push it back to July. But we're working closely with Venkatesh from Epico Regal. They're working some really cool stuff that they'll be announcing very soon. We've also helped Kay and John's also been helping them with the back end for their marketplace. So some cool stuff they've added on, which you'll see soon as well. But yeah, I mean, we're here to really, like maybe at some point, what I want to see is if you have your own NFT project, and then you want to use your own token to buy that NFT, then that's possible. But then if you wanted to morph it or craft it within Kaloscope, then you have to use our token. So essentially, there's like different modes. But again, we still have to look into that aspect, because that means you're going to have an internal exchange within the platform. Maybe we have to, and the thing that I don't want to add straight away is this KYC system, because it puts a strain, especially for a lot of crypto users. And also, it takes away the decentralized aspect of what we're doing, because again, it's about ownership. It's up to you, and essentially, the metaverse is your opportunity to create your own identity. to own your own space, your own, in your own collection. So yeah.
That's awesome. I guess, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about or anything you wanted to say to the audience?
Sure. So guys, we're looking to do our drop at probably the third. We're looking at like the 30th of April, American time, or May the 1st. And come and join our Discord. I think Dan can just probably just drop the link at some point somewhere. And I mean, probably just one more little nugget for the viewers there, and for people who probably hasn't seen uh, at least the demo app. Maybe it's good to showcase to them what we were working on a couple of months ago. So yeah, I mean, it'll be totally different from. You want me to share screen or?
Yes. Yeah. Why don't you pull up a screen and then we can maybe
Sure.
go
Let me
through
share
that.
screen. Yeah, I think it's also important for your audience to see how sort of we started in a way. So this is just like a video of the demo app over here, and just let me know if you can see the screen.
We can see it.
So yeah, forget about the UI UX. It's totally different now. But the idea of this project is the heart and core of what you can do. So essentially, you log in using your non-custodial wallet. You press here, and then you're greeted with these thing called spaces. Now you got three different modes here that you can access on the app: AR mode, augmented reality; VR mode; and XR mode, which we'll probably go through one by one. So AR mode is the typical thing where you scan a surface. You can tap on that. A portal will open, but unfortunately, we didn't have time to place a portal. We just had to just input it. But then I'm walking around straight up in the metaverse. So this whole virtual space here is an NFT, and yeah, and I can walk around it end to end, side to
Wow.
side. You also have like a switch over from yeah, so AR mode, and you can then switch it over from AR mode to VR mode seamlessly as well. So let's say from VR mode, so you can walk around similar to the Veve aspect, and the XR mode, which is like the hands-free experience, but then you'll have a controller that you can still use to walk around with. So there's a lot of open we can do for gamification in the future. So what if you were in a haunted house? You can look around, up, down, left, and right, but then you still have control to let you move forward and backward.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, for now, let's say we have the VR mode. These are like concepts of our NFTs, and then we probably what we do here is we place an NFT. So if you can see this NFT here, this is actually an NFT that our CTO purchased for about $56,000 in Dubai. So, so it's a mural in Dubai, and it's like a wall art that right next to one of the Dubai malls. So it's an amazing piece of work made by one of the first female NFT artists there. So and then we placed it in this virtual metaverse where I can then place it in the room. I can sort of make adjustments to it, put it in my space, and then I can then add maybe a 3D asset. So like one of our NFTs, where I can then sort of make some adjustments to it as well. Sort of move it around. I can then resize it and then walk around it. So now, as you can see, I have a mural from Dubai, and I have a tree connected to a project in Africa. So which this one's still in progress, but at some point, what we aim to do is you can add a geotag location of the tree that you own, so that virtual tree is connected to a real tree, or a
Wow.
tree that's being planted. So yeah, and now you're in this virtual metaverse experience, wherein you can now, I can just invite you to my space, and I can then we have like sort of this thing called we call it the flex feed, So you can then share the experiences of your NFTs, take a picture, tag your NFT as well. Because the fact that you're connecting your non-custodial wallet onto our platform, you can tag your NFT, share it the same way you have in social media, and share people the space, access to your spaces. We did add the functionality to find out what your wallet balance is, but we'll get into. We're still deciding whether we should do that or not. But yeah, we have our assets as well, which you can have like a range of your collection. And at some point, what we want to do is you can connect, let's say, multiple wallets and associate it with the same account, so that you have like almost like a summary of all your collection in one place. I can tap one end of the NFTs, and maybe you get some information about the NFT, like the creator, the NFT code, and our favorite section here is what we call as the perkability section, wherein what do I get for owning the NFT? Is it a 2D image? Is it access to an event? Is it 10% discount to a shop? So at least now you know what perks you get, because that's the problem. You want to make it as easy as possible for new users to experience the NFTs. And of course, we also have our augmented reality experiences as well. So now I can view my piece of art piece in AR as well. So we built this in 6 weeks. So it's not really like obviously as advanced as it could be, but we think it's pretty good.
Yeah, for 6 weeks, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that's again, this is just like the first iteration of the demo of Kaloscope. It's early stages, but as we grow as a project, eventually we're going to be able to. Oop, I can't find you. Where did you go? There you are. Yeah, eventually you'll be able to showcase a lot more than what we're showcasing here. But it's a step by step. We want to be able to build a community to share our vision. Because we're not just talking about it. You can see we're actually building stuff, and we're delivering high quality assets. And the fact that we're also working with the guys who built Veve from the beginning, is a testament within itself, because they know what went wrong. They know the stuff that went wrong. So we can use those things that they've learned and bring it to our platform, take it to the next level. And there's a lot more that we'll share. But if you guys are also who are watching this, we'll be doing an AMA on Sunday. I believe, what date is that? Sunday. I think it's 24th. Is it? Yeah, Sunday the 24th. Yes. I think it'll be about around 2 p.m., 3 p.m. PT. Just check out our socials and you'll see the announcements from there. But that's pretty much the overall aspects. Just come and join us in our spaces, have a chat, ask questions. We're not asking you to buy, we're just asking you to learn. We're here to build the metaverse. We want to hear what you want to see in the metaverse. And this virtual world is not built by one person, it's built by a community of people. And the best experiences that we can get, it's all about the users, right?
That's awesome. That's an amazing demo, and I definitely will hopefully be in your spaces there, so I can kind of listen in as well. So that's awesome. So we got kind of 2 dates, right? We have the AMA on the 24th, which is Sunday, and then we have the drop, the Ardina drop on April 30th as well. So two important dates for your project there. So that's awesome. So Kirk, I know it's late over there, but I would like to relay my thanks to you. I'm honored that you came on the channel. I think this is going to be really informative for our audience here. So I appreciate you coming on.
No, cheers. Do you want to ask some questions? I think I just realized there's a comment section. I didn't see that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I
We could
feel
take
sorry
one.
for. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't see there was a comment section here. I was looking at the private chat the whole time, and it was empty.
Okay. That's kind of demoralizing to, yeah. Yeah, there's some people asking. Well, here's a question actually. This is from Damon. I don't know if you see that there, but is there any idea of maybe possibly adding music or a
Oh, straight up
narrative?
say yes, because
Yeah,
I was talking to Dozer about this. Like, if and somehow we can get the Disney license for virtual spaces, what if you can own, like, I don't know, Anakin Skywalker's, like, apartment, and then you start playing the Star Wars music as you enter that space. So,
that'd be
it's
cool.
just really the idea. That would be cool. Or even if you own the Batcave, you have to play the Batman song. Or if I was in the Pokemon Stadium, the Pokemon song comes on. So, it's really that nostalgic effect. And the idea is, like, these music NFTs, for example, I think is going to be, undervalued, because the only reason why they're not kicking off is because there's no platform to showcase it. There's no utility, because, you're just listening to it through your phone. But if there was maybe a space where you can attach it to, so that it actually has a use case, then it starts with that. And eventually, maybe even it unlocks new experiences within that metaverse. So I don't know, if you're listening to an NFT of Ariana Grande, maybe the walls of your room turns into pink or something. It's about, like, creating new experiences. So yeah, definitely at some point we'll have music NFTs.
I do have a question as well. You mentioned uh, you mentioned you have a like an appointment or meeting with David Yu. Is that like an introduction, like very generically,
It's
or
Yeah, it's pretty much an introduction. So Venkatesh has been working with David for many years, and he wanted me to go and see him. And for me, really, it's not just about the just meeting. It's like from a CEO to a CEO, and he's done it before. Like, I wanted to have some advice on potentially, like, what can be done. What are the challenges that are being faced that you don't see behind the scenes. So, for
wow?
me, like, it's all about learning from the best. And I said, why would you settle for anything less? If you want to be the best, you talk to the best. If you want to build, something like Veve, then you got to talk to the guys who built it. Else you'd just be dreaming. And that's why we have some amazing, guys within our, within our community, within even the team, who are amazing advisors, like Sanjay, who just recently joined us, and a couple of other, like, superstar advisors as well. So yeah, it'll be a couple months from now. We are looking to have an event, I think, sometime around September, but we'll have to see as we get closer to that, because I'm still not sure about the details on that.
Do you have any plans to go to DesignerCon in London? I think it's like September 3rd or 4th. It's like a
I think
weekend.
it'll be alongside that. So there might be one there, and then there's going to be a Samsung event in the Samsung Arena. So there'll be those two. So I'm in Dubai. I just fly there for, like, it's 8 hours. It's not really that far.
Mhm.
And it's my home. So I can just enter there in and out. But are you fly there?
Yeah, some of us like Hay and Wannabe Champ and Taps, we had some plans to do DesignerCon in April, but that got or this month or so, but it
Oh,
got pushed
okay.
back because of COVID. So
Mm-hmm,
with COVID being diminished a little bit,
mm-hmm.
I have plans to go. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
no, I think we'll be most likely be there just for fun. And I think by that time we hope, if there's no delays, we would have launched a token. So,
Wow. Cool.
our idea would then be to, just see what partnerships we can do.
Mhm.
And, before we even launch the app, you've got all these potential new platforms, partnerships, or even people who want to utilize what we're doing. Because I think it'll really start with independent artists or small NFT projects who just want to showcase their community a new experience because they don't have the money to build a metaverse. They don't
Right.
have the money to build a game. So we're developing that platform for them in a way, essentially, essentially for free, really, to start with. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see.
Yeah,
We'll have
for
to
sure.
see. But there'll be a lot of events, though. We will be. I'm doing an event. I'm actually attending the Niantic Lightship event in San Francisco in May, and then we are going to be having a very very big one in the NFT NYC in New York on the third week or second week of June. So that'll be a very very big event too. So we have a question here, right? Is the
Yes.
token like crypto too, or is it a currency within the app? It'll be a crypto token. So you won't be able to do buying and selling within the app because it's just a platform where you can view it. But then within our desktop app or the website, that's where you'll be able to utilize the token to its max. So morphing, crafting, gamification, all those nice words. That will be for those platforms because they can handle the um, the intensity of those graphics. So but yeah, it'll be crypto based, and if you own a diamond or gold pass, just that major tip, you'll probably have like automatic whitelisting for that too. So maybe the more
Wow.
points you stack, the more tokens you could probably get. But so like we want to reward the early adopters, because it's gonna be we're not here for the short term. We're not trying to build an NFT project and you pump it and you dump it. We're building a platform for other NFT projects, and content is not going to be an issue because we're not the ones developing the content. We're inviting people to come and use our platform to showcase their collection. So, and use our token eventually, or maybe partner up with other tokens to see what we can do. So we're very open. We'll still look into other future partnerships as well. But yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Kirk, I appreciate you coming on. It was amazing. Hope to have you on again sometime as well.
oh, definitely. Thank you so much, Dan. And hopefully we can do some more stuff like this. I mean, it's
Sure.
been fun.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time.